So I am pretty excited tonight because this is actually something that I've been wanting to do for ages, but to interview Meg Pendlebury. So we're going to dive deep, I guess, into Meg's journey and how she started and where she's gone to. But for many of you, you'll realise that Meg reached silver last month, which was super exciting. So silver being the start of our leadership rank, where you obviously start to receive more bonuses and get really recognised for your leadership position within your doTERRA team. So thanks very much, Meg, for joining me. I actually really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the fact that obviously tonight is quite a big night in the Pendlebury family, and I hadn't realised it when we booked this in a few weeks ago. So thank you very much for being on here. So I thought if we start at the start of your journey, I just wanted to ask you a few questions tonight about what you've done. I know that often when we share our stories and we look at what we're doing, and I know that we've had this conversation, Meg, you feel like you don't do anything different or special, but it's amazing when you share your journey with other people, those light bulb moments that they get. And we all do our businesses slightly differently, and there's no right or wrong, but what a lot of people will find by listening to what you share is they will get new tips and tricks and think of hear different things that maybe they might be able to do. So I thought if you start by, I guess, when you first enrolled, and I've got a few things that I will add along your way, just that I think are really interesting little tips. Yeah, if you want to share that.
Well, I originally I was invited to go to a class held by yourself. It was about 3 years ago. I think Millie was only a few weeks old, or a month old, or she was really young. And basically I went along interested to maybe get my hands on 1 or 2 oils to help with my massage business. I was thinking of incorporating them. And, of course, fell in love on the first day with Erin's class. Little did I know she'd only been doing it for a few months. Total pro from the beginning. And I started the Home Essentials, and I was just using them and enjoying them. And funnily enough, I didn't even incorporate it into my massage work for probably 18 months. I think I more so started using them in my massage business when I sort of decided to take doTERRA a bit further into business side of things. So yeah, I probably used them for 18 months or just under, and was just enjoying them around the home. A few cleaning things, but more so just using the diffuser and, chucking some ice glue on me and Critter every now and then, that type of thing, but not really delving into the wider world of oils and what they can actually do to support us. On an emotional side, I had no idea what really they could do. And so it was when Kristen came home from convention, it was about, like I said, 18 months after. So I think just over, what is it now, May last year, was it, Kristen? About roughly? Yeah. She came home, and living 3 hours from Melbourne, she came and stayed at my house when she flew in. And I reckon talked for about 5 hours straight about convention and how awesome it was. And I just didn't really understand. And I guess I was too nervous to look into the business side of it, thinking it would be all too hard because numbers, tax stuff, all that stuff just is not me, and I'm not comfortable with it. And I have my job, and I loved my job, my massage work I'm still doing, and I still love it. But when Kristen explained how easy it is just to share the oils, I thought, oh, that's for me, because I didn't want to do the whole social media thing. I didn't want to do a business name. I didn't want any of that. And so I started just by sharing, and literally just shared a post on my personal Instagram page and said, I'm going to do this now if people are interested in learning a bit about it. But that was it. And then, basically started doing classes that month. And, from there I just pretty much dove in the deep end the following month and decided, okay, I do want social media and I do want a business name and all that, and just kind of went from 0 to 100 within a couple of months because I just realised how much I loved them, and just they weren't in my life enough.
On
Yeah.
that, I just wanted to ask, so obviously Kristen came home from convention super
Mhm.
excited. Is there anything that you recall that stood out for you that she had,
Um,
or was it her energy around it?
not
She just
definitely the
liked
energy.
oils.
Yeah, definitely the energy. She talked a lot about how inspiring they were and the things that they do outside of just creating oils, and that really resonated with me because I liked the idea of helping others as well as myself and my family. I have always said this my whole life. What would I do if I had money? Obviously, I'd set myself up and my family up, but it was more like if I had money, post setting up our life to make sure that we're okay, I would do something to help people. I always wanted to help people and always thought I needed money to do that, to donate to a charity or to go on a trip and volunteer and anyway. And so when this opportunity came about, I thought, well, even just sharing the oils and knowing that purchasing oils is helping people in third world communities, that was enough for me to go, this is what I need to do and this is what I want to do and this is what I was supposed to do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, I know you kind of touched on it. Obviously, you didn't consider the business.
No.
You found that too
No,
scary.
I wrote it off from the start. I definitely just wrote it off as something I didn't even want to look into, just because business scares me. I've never been a salesperson. It's never interested me. And I just thought it was something that, one, I wouldn't be comfortable with, but something that people wouldn't want to hear from me, I suppose. Just because, like I said, sales it didn't sit well with me until I realized that you didn't have to be a salesperson to be able to do this. You just had to love what you were talking about and know what you're talking about, I suppose, too. But loving it, I think, is the most important thing.
Yeah, because I remember going back to that first class that you came to, and this is probably something that's really gold for a lot of people, is that was a class, like Meg said, Millie was really little, and from memory she cried nearly the whole class, and it was one of those classes that everyone cancelled, and so there was two of us, there's my sister-in-law and Megan, and me, obviously, but it was one of those classes that a lot of people would go, oh, look, no one's really coming. I've only got one person. Should we reschedule it? Should we cancel it? And it is one of those lessons in don't ever cancel a class, because often those one-on-ones or, two-on-ones, whatever it is, they're the ones where the real magic happens because you get to connect with people on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And I remember, Meg, when you enrolled, and I contacted you quite a few times to see if you would host a class, and you were not interested at all. And but I think that just shows the journey that other people are on. And I was really similar. I hosted a class, a year and a half before I started my doTERRA business, and I was asked plenty of times in that 18 months, would you be interested in the business? And I was like, no, I've got way too much going on in my life. I'm not interested. But just because people say no and they're not interested then doesn't mean that they won't come around. So I think that's always a really great lesson to learn from your customers. Like, just keep connected and like really meet them where they're at, because it doesn't mean that circumstances may not change, down the track as well, which and even Kristen was really similar. She just wanted a one-on-one, didn't want a class, and wasn't interested in the business until, randomly out of the blue, I get a phone call to say, tell me about this business thing and I'll make up my mind in 24 hours. And so it's often those unsuspecting people that can come back around when they fall in love with the oil. So I think that's a really good point.
And I think it's a really comforting thing too when you are building a business, because I have found, now that it's been just over 12 months for me, I find that I take things less personally as well when it comes to that side of things, because at the start I found, I'm very fortunate. My very first month doing it, I hit elite, and that was simply because I had a couple of people really close to me who were interested in doing a class, and they happened to get 6 or 7 people to a class. So classes obviously is the key, because you get more enrollments really quickly. Obviously after that it sort of plateaus a little bit and we sort of plod along, but other than that month, I think because my first month was actually really good, after that I was sort of like, oh, what's going on here? Like, why are people not interested anymore? Or why am I not hearing from people? Or why are they not, it took me a while to not take it personally, just realize that I was that person. So put myself in their shoes. If they're not ready to do it, leave them alone. And it's not a personal attack on me. So I do find that really comforting, especially, another 12 months down, I just think, okay, no worries. If you're ever keen, contact me, and then I let it go. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And it doesn't mean that you can't build a relationship and keep connected with people.
Exactly.
You don't need to harass them either. I think that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned, obviously, you put a post on your personal Facebook page. Is that how you got your first classes generated? Like, how did you get started as far as, did you do classes? Did you do one-on-ones? And how did you get that interest?
So to initially start that first month, it was more just trying to get word of mouth, basically. So yeah, I don't know what came first. Either I remember I was at Chris's footy game one week, and a girl pulled out a roller who I sit with every single week, and I've never noticed her pull this roller out. And she pulled out a Hope roller and was rolling it. I was like, oh, do you use doTERRA? And she's like, oh, I just buy a couple every now and then from someone I work with. And from there, we had the conversation of, I said, well, actually, like, it was literally a week. I was like, oh, well, actually, I'm actually doing like kind of educating and selling these things now if you're interested. She's like, oh, I would be. And her mother-in-law is sitting next to her, who I also sit with every month, and every week, sorry. And she said the same thing. Oh, I'd be really keen. And so literally from there, they're like, oh, I'll hold a class, and such invited a few people. And yeah, there was heaps of people there. And it might have been after that class. I think I had 6 enrollments that class. It was insane. And then from there, I think, I just put a post on my personal Instagram and Facebook. And from there, I had a couple of people straight away say, I'm interested. In fact, Pam, I think you were one of them within the first couple of months, said, actually, I'd be really keen to hear about this. And so, yeah, I just from there just offered, whether it be a one-on-one, I did a one-on-one with Pam, and then, or I said if people want to do a class, they can. So I had a few one-on-ones and a couple of classes within the first month and the second month. And I just slowly gained a bit more confidence, realizing how easy it can be as soon as you do a class. So that's when I went, oh, I want to do this properly, because I got a little feel for it. And as soon as that first sort of commission come in and it paid for my LRP, I was like, okay, now I want to do more. So yeah, it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah. And do you find that then you book classes from classes, or do you constantly keep putting it out?
I honestly don't think I do it enough. I don't think I put out there enough that I do classes. And a couple of times I've had people say that to me, say like, oh, you don't really advertise that you do classes enough. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I need to do that more. I'm also, in my opinion, terrible at booking classes from classes, but I've been lucky that I've had a few people who have been in a class that said, I'd have a few friends that would be keen on this. Maybe I'll get you around one day. And so I just keep them in mind and then contact them and say, when you do want to do it, let me know. But yeah, they're both things I'm trying to improve on.
Yeah. So that's like what I said at the start. There's no right or wrong. And I think this is where we really learn from each other. If you have a different way of doing it, it doesn't mean that it's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But if it is as simple as that, if you're listening to what they say and they say, I've got friends that are interested, and you go home, and whether you're better to write it down or to keep that in your mind to then follow up with them to see how they're going and book it in, it's still creating that momentum, I guess, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And so booking classes is something that a lot of people find difficult. Especially after you might have had that initial flow of them. How do you find you go about booking classes now? They're still just coming to you?
I still don't do as many classes as I want to. In fact, I don't do nearly enough classes. I wish I could do more classes. I'm still juggling time frames. My issue being that I'm with the kids all the time, minus Fridays when I go massage. So I'm already busy. So I often offer people classes late on a Friday. So I literally finish work at 7:30 and then drive to their house from there. Or I offer Saturday, but I have to find a babysitter, footy's on, or I offer Sunday. And that's kind of the only classes I can offer. So times have been tough to book classes. So once the kids get a bit older, I know that classes are going to be easier to schedule because my availability will be better. In terms of, I don't know. I don't get enough. But what I find is where I don't know how it happens, but I've found what's been really fortunate for me is that everything comes in ebbs and flows. So I find all of a sudden I have a class every single week for like a month, and I'm booked in advance, and then I might not have classes for 2 months. But for whatever happens in the universe, when my classes are really just not happening, my social media picks up and I get random people out of the universe go, hey, Meg, I've been following your page. I'm really interested. And they sometimes enroll that day, literally just by saying, I sort of want to cover this. And I think, all right, well, this will benefit you. They're like, yep, sign me up. And I'm like, well, that was bloody easy. So I have found it just happens like that. So no, I'm not doing enough classes. They're not consistent. I'm lately, I think it's just this time of year, I've had quite a lot of people book a class and then it doesn't happen. People are busy or something. But yeah, I find the social media stuff for me has been able to keep it a bit of a balance. But yeah, I definitely want to do more classes in the future. I think next year's my time for that when Kobe's at school, and Harvey might be in daycare another day, so I might have more days to be able to do it during the week.
But that's awesome, because even though you say you struggle to do classes, like you still often, like really consistently, the top enroller in our team, you're often the top enroller in the Freedom Tribe. So whatever you're doing is working. And it is that you're making the use of the time that you've got. Well, you're certainly doing that. So social media, do you have, obviously you do really well, like you just said, you've got people pop out of the blue wanting to enroll through you, what you're sharing online. Can you tell us about what you do with social media? So when did you start it? What platforms do you use? How often do you post? Do you schedule your posts, or do you do them organically? How do you fit that in?
It is completely organically. I don't schedule anything in. Everything is done. When you see me post, I've literally just done it leading up to me pressing go. It's something I will do down the track. I'm not worried about doing it the way I'm doing it, but I know that eventually I'd rather not be on my phone all the time when I'm around the kids. But at the moment, just when something comes to me, I'll create it and do it. And if that means I sit in front of the TV for 10 minutes while I quickly write a post, then I do it, because I want it out there. Because for me, I have found that as it comes to me, that's my inspiration. I want to get it out there, and I feel like that's how I'm connecting with people. It's either something I've done that's worked for me, so I want to do a post about, like, you know, whatever it might be, cleaning the microwave I did this morning because I did that yesterday and it was awesome. And I thought, hey, other people are going to love that. So, I don't think I'm good at social media, as in terms of I don't understand algorithms and I don't understand how technology works. I'm terrible with technology. I don't even have a computer. So there you go. I do it all off my phone, and occasionally I might post something. I do Zoom on my iPad and that's it. So I think that's a good thing, though, knowing that I know absolute squat about social media, yet it still goes well for me. So I think just that consistency is the key. And just,
do you post a day?
I make sure I don't have like a goal, but I suppose my aim is every day I have a actual post that people can like or comment on. Occasionally I find myself doing 2, because if something comes to me that day that I want to post about, that if I've just had a really stressful day and something's worked for me, or I've just had a headache and something's worked for me, I want to post about it there and then, because that's real. And that's what was real for me in that moment. So I find the only time I don't do a post on a day is if I've maybe done a couple of 2-day posts in a row, because I feel like I start to get annoying. So I want to give it a bit of a break. But I just make sure that if I'm not doing posts, that I'm putting stuff on my story so people are still seeing that I'm there.
Yeah. And so do you just use Facebook and Instagram?
Yep.
And do you post the same thing on both platforms?
Yep. Yeah, I just post on Instagram and link it to my Facebook group. Yeah. And then the only time I post something extra in my Facebook is if I see a link that I like and I want to share it. But I started last year my own private VIP group on Facebook. So I do have a private group for all of my people I've enrolled, which is a funny one because I actually don't get a lot of interaction on there, but it still goes well because people are getting information they need. They're just not liking and doing all that type of stuff, but I know they're seeing it because a lot of people would text message me privately and say, oh, I saw this, what did it do? I'm thinking, just comment, just comment. But no, a lot of people message me on the side. So I know that people are seeing it and they're at least liking it. So I think that's helped as well, especially with LRP. getting the information in that group has been really helpful, I think.
That was actually another one of my questions. So what do you do once someone's enrolled? How do you follow up with them personally? So is it just through the VIP group? Do you do follow-up classes? Do you do wellness consults? Do you do them online, in person? Like, how do you go about that?
I've never, that's a lie, once in 14 months have I ever done a follow-up consult in person. Because a lot of my social media stuff has been successful. Some people I've never even met before. But somehow I think the people that are attracted to enroll with me are people that just resonate with stuff that I do. So we just connect. So yeah, like some people I've never met, I don't even know what they sound like. I just know what they look like from a couple of their social media pictures. So yeah, that's not my thing. If they want it, I always offer it. If you ever want to chat, let's catch up for a cuppa, or let's, but I find for my people, they know that my phone, that I'm available. They know that they can contact me at I have people message every single day, asking me questions. And I think that's been the thing, because they're not worried about, I'm not worried about them losing interest because they're contacting me anyway about information. So that's kind of how I have done it. The VIP group has helped, but I might touch base, and if I see something, I know on Facebook or Instagram that I think, that relates to that person because they were talking about whatever ailment or whatever condition. And so I might screenshot it and send it to them and say, I was thinking of you when I saw this post, it might be worthwhile giving it a try, or how are you going with it? Or if you ever need any questions or any help with anything, let me know. So they know that I'm available to chat. So I think that's how our follow-ups go. And we keep that back and forth connection.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so do you put different things in your VIP group compared to the normal social media?
Yep. Nothing that's on my normal page, I don't think, goes. Sometimes I might share it again saying, if you haven't seen it in my page, here it is. Excuse me. My private group, I do a giveaway every month. I do a couple of again, that's not something that's very specific. That's just when something comes to me, I'll jump on and maybe do a video or something. BOGOs, I've done it differently the last couple of BOGOs, but last BOGO I always give, I did a written one, an extra post in my VIP group, and just sort of give extra information on top of what I do in my general page. The BOGO before, I did a video every single day in my private group as well. Just a couple of things that I wouldn't put on my general page, like the ways sometimes I might have used things internally. I don't put on my general page, obviously, but occasionally, if something's worked for me that I've used internally, I might just go, hey guys, look, this is what I've done and it's worked really, really well. Other than that, I don't think much else. I can't think really, to be honest.
That's all good. And I just want to go back because I love your social media and I love the consistency, I guess, of your branding on your posts. They're really easy to identify. How did you create your border, I guess you'd call it?
I started doing stuff on Canva because that was the first one that people told me about to have a go on. And I had a bit of a play. And if you scroll back to last year, you can see that I was doing different fonts every single day and playing around with things, which was fun. But I just thought, let's just keep it more simple, so that, like you said, it's easier to identify, but also it's going to take me less time to create it as well every day because I am doing it on the spot. I was following a friend who was putting really beautiful stories, and I thought, I want to find that to make it look prettier. So I asked her what she used, and she told me, and even though it's meant to be designed for a story, I just crop it every time. So it's just through an app that I just had just picked the font and thing that I like, and I've just gone with it, which we then followed into my logos and stuff for my business name.
Yeah. Are you able to share that app so we can have a play?
Yep, hang on. Otherwise it's called Unfold.
Yep. I've heard of that.
So it just creates nice fonts and backgrounds and options for your My Story, for the story highlights. Yeah. But I've just chosen one that's a short one so I can crop it and chuck it in my posts. I'm sure there's an easy way to do it, but that's what I'm doing.
But it's I actually love what you're doing, because I think when it comes to social media, people do overthink it, and we've kind of gone through this phase of everything was authentic, and then it became super beautiful, and if it wasn't super beautiful, it was like you shouldn't put it on there. And it's really gone back into authenticity is key. Like, people want to see you being real and raw, not being dolled up and modeled, and that you've spent half an hour prepping your space kind of thing. They actually want to see you in the real, like, in life, and that's what you've done really well. And that it's when it is authentic that people connect with you. So I think that what you're doing is perfect, without knowing all the algorithms and what the professionals say. You found what works, and I think that's really, a lot of us overthink it, I think, and think, oh, should I do this, shouldn't I, what should I post? Today, if you're not posting anything, you're not going to get any coverage. So
no, I just keep making sure that I'm posting photos that I've taken, and they're terrible. All the photos are taken on my phone have hardly any light in certain areas of the house and all that sort of stuff, but I just highlight it and take the shadows out a little bit and chuck that on, because I figure if people are scrolling through a feed and they're seeing photos that they've seen before, they're just going to keep scrolling. So I always make it my photos, my own photos. Even for BOGO days, I don't ever repost unless it's in my story. That's different. But I never repost the doTERRA photos that they put up, or one that I've seen another wellness advocate do, because people are just going to be like, seen it. So I always post my own shitty looking, but it's original. And I think that's, keeping it as original and real as possible, I think, is something that's really important.
And that even works with the algorithms when you're looking at social media. If it's something that is yours, it's going to get more reach than if it's being shared a lot as well.
Cool.
Does anyone have any questions for Meg?
Meg, can you talk a little bit about sticking with the social media stuff, how you felt and what drove you to share what you do about how you use the oil, Kobe, and all that sort of stuff? Because I know that's a big part of how people connect with you too, using it with your kids and in particular Kobe. So can you just tell a bit about that maybe?
Yeah. So Kobe was diagnosed with autism only 12 months ago. The process for his assessment was like 18 months long. So we've known for a while that there was something not right. But the reason I fell even deeper in love with the oils in the first few months of my business is because we had the most epic response to Kobe emotionally using the oils. And it was then that I was like, okay, this stuff is way more amazing than I thought it ever was. And that's the stuff that resonated with me, that I wanted to shout from the rooftops. I wasn't comfortable to actually say what he had, because I hadn't actually come to terms with what we were dealing with, and it was really emotional, but I still wanted to be able to help people. So I kind of talked about it in a roundabout way about his symptoms more so, and what ways we've helped those, rather than actually what his diagnosis was. But I'm just sort of coming to terms now recently, which you've probably noticed, actually, I think I've said the word autism once, but people know without me having to say and shout from the rooftop that this is what we're dealing with. And I think, yes, I've had a lot of people contact me, say, oh, my son has anxiety too, or my child has trouble winding down, or whatever it might be. So people aren't saying my kid has autism as well, but they're understanding that these symptoms are something that a lot of people are dealing with. And so I think sharing those personal stories, again, it's real. It's what people are actually dealing with. So it's nice to have my pretty quotes, and it's nice to have nice smelling diffuser blends and that type of stuff, because I get a lot of engagement on those, but this stuff is the real stuff. So I think anytime you've had something that's worked for you, it's important to put on your page, because that's what people are going to say. Well, I deal with that too, so I want help in that area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And can I just add, thank you for doing that, because I know that it's not always easy, but that's what people get so much out of it. And that's, I think, why people respond so much to you and they can connect with you, because you are just real and genuine, and you're always there. It's not just, oh, look at this, good stuff that we did today. There's good days and there's bad days, and you're open to sharing all of it. So I think that's really amazing.
Yeah. I think it's important also to I don't want to be someone that dwells on it going, oh, parenting's so hard, to have this oil and autism is really hard. Have this oil. I think it's important, but I also don't want to sugarcoat everything and go, oh, we're such a happy family all the time and we never, so it's important to show both sides again, because that's real. But yeah, I don't know. I think the videos are really important. I think that's what I didn't think people were watching them, and I was going to stop. And then out of the blue, I would have people say, oh, I really liked your videos. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know you were watching them. So I think that's really important. Yeah, it is hard to share about, but it's important. So we'll see.
Oh, well, I think that you've done an amazing job, and your journey so far, like to be silver, you've done an amazing job to get to silver. Did you have anything that you wanted to share? Did you do anything differently last month to get to silver? Did you want to
Do you
share?
know what? I only had 4 enrollments last month and hit silver. So it was all about people BOGO does help, but I actually had gone over my normal, what I would hit every month before BOGO even started. So that's, I think, helped me. But I had other people, just regular customers purchasing, and that, what's it called? That, is it retention? What is it?
Yeah.
People already on LRP, people that were already enrolled but not on LRP, jumping on LRP last month. And I think I've just tried to educate a bit more about what it is. And I think that has helped a lot. But yeah.
That is, it is the core of your business, that you don't want to have to be going out and enrolling 20 people each month to hit the next rank. You want to have these people who are already interested, that are in your tree, to get them to really commit to the doTERRA lifestyle and embrace doTERRA for their families for so many different aspects, as opposed to just jumping on them because they wanted their house to smell nice or whatever it might have been. So
yeah, I think definitely.
That's awesome. Well, I don't have any more questions for you. Did anyone else have anything else? I'm just going to check the chat. Yeah, they're all saying that you're killing it, which you are.
Thank you.
But I really did want to just finish off, I guess, by congratulating you on reaching silver and for always being so consistent. And we love having you on our team. Like, you do bring such a great energy. And just the fact that you show up all the time, like you're always on team calls. And I know that sometimes team calls, even then, it can be difficult, especially when you're putting kids to bed and things like that. And sometimes you do want to just work on your business, or you might just want to sit on the couch with hubby and have some downtime. But doing all those extra things is often what can make a difference to how you grow your business too. And you're certainly an example of that. You come to all the trainings, you come to every event like that seems to be on, and you're always showing up on your business, and your consistency in social media, and like Kristen mentioned, sharing your stories from showing the dark and the light of motherhood and life in general and busyness and what the oils can do. I think you've done such an amazing job. So congratulations, and thanks for being on our team, because we love
it. Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you. Thanks for all the support too, you guys. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. So thank you.
That's good. Alrighty. Well, we'll leave it there. Thanks for jumping on, everybody.